Hi guys, welcome back. I'm sorry that this video is delayed. I feel like I had the show happen and then I've had like the worst luck and the most unfortunate events happen after the show. So I'm sick also, so you're gonna have to excuse this voice, but I was like, okay, I have to do it, so it doesn't matter what my voice sounds like, because it was an amazing experience at the show. We're going to get into that in a second, but just to explain a little bit what's been going on. The morning after the show, I received a phone call that sadly my German grandmother was passing away. So my brother flew in from the UK, we drove straight to my grandmother, and we were able to be there for her last few days while she was still alive. It was really beautiful. It was really an amazing experience being able to be there for her. We were by her side till she had her last breath, so it was something that was very emotional for my whole family, and we have the funeral next week. So now that I'm back home in the Netherlands, I do want to kind of update you guys a little bit on how everything went. The show was amazing. I was such a nervous wreck. I hardly slept the day before. Actually, the first couple of days I hardly slept. So I was very, very nervous, and I did my best kind of filming and capturing all of it. We're going to be reviewing the test in just a second as well. But yeah, so we arrived the day before to do arena familiarizations. Got Emporio off the truck, settled into the stables for an hour or two. He was pretty good. He was pretty settled. But then when it came time to do the arena familiarization, he was crazy. He was super stallion-y. He was dripping wet. He was so tense. I could hardly hold him. And there wasn't even that many horses in the arena familiarization. So I was like, how in the world are we going to be able tomorrow to do a warm-up with like 10 or 15 horses in the arena? I said, it's going to be a nightmare. He was still a good boy. He didn't do anything wrong, but he was just so stressed that you couldn't almost like get through to him. Once that happened, that did make me more nervous. We washed him, we put him back in his stable, we made sure he had enough hay and food and that he was comfortable. And then that's when the bad luck started to begin, because we ended up getting a flat tire that night as well on the way back to check him for like the final night checks. I got a flat tire on the way. My coach had to come like pick me up. And we had to call roadside assistance. It took more than 2 hours to get the car sorted. They couldn't fix the tire, so the car had to get taken away. It was just bad news. So that's when the bad luck began. Luckily, it didn't stick around for too long because the next day came and I was, again, super nervous. I was like shaking getting him ready. I was like planning him up. I did the mane with the rosettes, how I showed you guys that I was going to do. And I was shaking. Dominique was there, thank God. She was helping me with everything. She was amazing. She was also trying to keep my spirits up. I was trying my best also to like memorize the test, because I had my freestyle and the _J_George test and the nerves. It felt like I was going to make a mistake. So I just said, okay, nobody talk to me about the freestyle. We're just going to focus on the _George. And hopefully that's going to be okay. So Emporio looked amazing. He looked, we always say this, he looked expensive. He looked like he was just glowing. He looked stunning. He was just, I don't know, that day he looked amazing. It was very emotional also for me to see him all done up, because I've had him since he was a 3-year-old, and now we're having our first competition of _George. It was a very big step for us, and I was very proud of him, of how much he had grown and the horse he had become. So yeah, so I went into the warm-up arena feeling really proud that we were even in there. The warm-up went beautifully. I have to say he behaved amazingly. He almost didn't care about the other horses. There was still tension when I was in the walk and stuff, but throughout all the other work, he was reacting super nicely. And so my coach and I were both very confident going into the arena that we had the horse we had back home for the test, which was a big relief for me. I think I did like a 20-30 minute warm-up and it went very well. So we were like, okay, we're not going to do more. Stunning. We asked the stewards if very kindly we could wait until the previous competitor had gone out of the indoor and then I could go in, because I wanted Emporio to go in there not thinking about other horses or anything like that, just seeing an empty arena, and we were going to do our test. So we waited for the person that went before me to go out, and then it was my turn. So here we are coming into the arena. Emporio was very excited, but in a different kind of way. I actually had a very different horse in the arena as opposed to the warm-up. He was trotting really big, he was neighing a lot, and he wasn't really looking around too much at the people, but he just felt like he wanted to show off. So I kind of gave him some time and went around the arena before my bell was rung. That way he could see everything. I said hello to the judges. I think that's always really important to do. And I wanted him to be comfortable also with the tables and everything. Even though he's not a spooky horse, it never hurts to kind of do these kind of things. I was also just taking it all in myself, taking some deep breaths because I was super nervous. The bell was rung, so it was time to go in and start our test. Now, you guys remember we've done this all together, so it's 𝒋𝒐𝒍𝒍𝒐𝒘. He felt pretty good, very excited, though there was a lot of horse underneath me. Not a bad hold. You can see he's looking straight away there to the left at all the audience and all the people, so there was definitely some excitement there. Little step thinking canter, then he went nicely into the trot. Here we have a nice active trot. To me this looks really nice. Then we're going to go into our extension. You guys will remember this from the previous videos of the prep work. Now this extension was ruined because he started pooing throughout it, which if Emporio poos, he goes really wide in the hind legs because he hates like the poo touching him or anything like that. So that was a little bit ruined, and it threw us for a little bit just because he kind of had to find his rhythm again. The trot looks really beautiful here. It's really big. Sadly, we had a little miscommunication here. He thought canter when obviously it's a shoulder in that we're trying to do, but he was still here very much like really big. So the trot was really big and he was thinking really big. So even here he was thinking half pass, but it was not a half pass, it was an 8-meter circle. So he was a little bit distracted. I think it was a mixture of the atmosphere and everything like that. Half pass over here. I remember this half pass being quite good. I did have to ask him a couple of times just to think a little bit more up because he was a little bit in the hand, but not too bad. This trot looks really beautiful to me as well. Then we had another extension. And I think just because he was a little bit more stressed, the extensions were not really that great. They were rushed, they were down, there was no suspension, the rhythm was lacking. I think that was just him kind of, he wasn't really focusing inwards, he was focusing outwards. This is something that did get a lot better when the freestyle came. But yeah, this is his first test, so I was happy that I could control it and bring it back. This shoulder in was much better. There was no miscommunication. I was also much more careful about how I asked it, knowing that he was reacting a little bit differently to my aids. This 8-meter circle was too big, so that was my mistake. I made it a little bit too big. It should have been a little bit smaller, but I was like, okay, I'll make it bigger, then he doesn't think half pass. This half pass was really nice. The ones to the right are always really good. It felt really easy. I knew we had a walk coming up also, so that I could kind of take a breath, take it easier. Now the walk is always really difficult when you have a horse that is excited, when you have a horse like Emporio that's quite stalliony as well. That can make it quite challenging. So I wouldn't say that it's, it was the best part of the test, but it was a good breathing moment for me. These are the walk pirouettes that I already showed you guys. I feel like they could have been a little bit smaller. That was also the remarks I saw from the judges. But overall, it was not too bad. I think I got like 6.5s for the walk pirouettes. So it could be better, but that tension, you can see that tension is kind of just building up there in the walk. Now it's collected walk, and then at M we're going into an extended walk along the outside track. And then into an extended walk across the diagonal. You can see he's looking around. You can see that he's not really able to relax over the back and really get that swing. But I'm glad that he didn't break into a trot or anything like that. So I was quite happy that we were able to kind of keep that at least controlled. So for the first time, I was pretty happy with that. Now we've got a transition to canter coming before K. So I'm just collecting him up. He didn't break into a trot, which was good. And canter. Little bit of a rough transition, but yeah, there was a lot of energy. You can see also how big the canter is. This horse wanted to show off. We have a canter half pass at X change, half pass back. This half pass felt pretty good, and it's pretty important for me to nail that first half pass in order for me to have enough time to then come back to the track and do a change before my marker. So that all went pretty good. I was satisfied with that. Here I was really kind of half holding him, remembering that I have those pirouettes coming up, so I really had to have him listening. Now I'm trying to remember now because I haven't watched this in a while, so I'm kind of reliving it with you guys. Now this pirouette was not the best. It was a little bit rushed. I feel like I could have made him sit a little bit more, but it wasn't bad. I think for the pirouette I got a 7, a 6.5 or a 7. So it wasn't terrible, but I think in looking at it, I could have made him sit a little bit more, collected him a little bit more, and taken my time with it. But yeah, it was the best I could do on that day. This one is also not too bad. It was too big. You can see he kind of pushed out there a little bit. So again, just having to collect him a little bit, but he was definitely thinking forward, so that was playing into it. All the changes were pretty good. Now we're going into our fours. Here he took over a little bit and started going forwards because he was thinking of my freestyle. But then we started the changes and it all went pretty good. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was not the straightest line, but we got those fours out, which was important. Now the threes were coming up, and I was quite worried going into these threes because I could feel that he was really reactive off of my leg, and that affected our usual timing. So I did end up making one tiny fault. Instead of going 3 in one of them, I went to 4. I think it's here. Yeah. 3, 1, yeah. So that one I just did 4 strides there instead of 3. So not a huge mistake, but yeah, ideally you wouldn't want to have that. Now we have our extension coming up, and this one felt really lovely actually. I had him really in front of the hand. I could be really soft with it. We really wanted to give out some gas, and he wanted to as well. He came back quite nicely, and we managed to change before the marker, which is what we had to do. And now we're making our way up to the center line. And here I was feeling already much more relaxed because I was like, okay, we've done the test now. It was the best we could do. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Not a bad halt. And salute. We got a little bit of a clap, so he got a little bit scared there. But I was really, really proud of him. I was super happy. I feel like there were some big mistakes in there, but I knew that some of it was definitely rider error. Some was due to just the new environment and everything like that. We ended up scoring 65% for this test, which I was hoping to go in for a little bit higher. One judge had us at 68. I was hoping to go for a bit of a higher score, but I was happy for the first time with the mistakes that we made that we managed this score. There was definitely plenty to improve on. We were marked pretty harshly on the walk because the quality of his walk is already not really good, and it's a double marker. We had that hiccup with the 8-meter circle, with the shoulder in, and also my extended trots were not good. They were not rhythmical, they were rushed. So these are all things I know I can really improve on, and that's going to have a big effect on the score. But really, really lovely remarks from the judges. They said they saw a lot of quality, a lot of potential, and for his first show, I have to say I'm super, super happy with this result. Tried really hard. Yeah, I guess it's So that's how the test went. I feel like this video is kind of long enough, so I'm gonna be posting tomorrow the freestyle. The freestyle was a whole different ball game. It was one of the best moments of my life, I have to say. It was incredible. The last center line of my freestyle had full goosebumps all over my body, and I was like, I have to do this again. This is something that I'm gonna have to keep doing. But yeah, but very proud of my boy, and what we did for our first 𝒋𝒐𝒍𝒍𝒐𝒘. 65 is an okay test result. I was hoping for like late 60s, early 70s. We got that in the freestyle, but for the 𝒋𝒐𝒍𝒍𝒐𝒘, there was sadly too many mistakes. But a lot of great comments from the judges, lots I can work on towards the Europeans, which we've now qualified for. I did end up winning my class as well, which was really exciting, so I was very happy about that. But yeah, overall, it was an incredible, incredible experience. I wish I could have vlogged it more. Sadly, there was some last minute changes, so I had to do all the filming myself, and I was so nervous, you guys, that I really just had to focus on my horse and myself. I was like on the verge of vomiting. I was so nervous. And that's not really a feeling that I'm used to. Usually I'm very like confident in everything I do, but because this was so new and it had been so many years of anticipation for this moment, it was really getting to me. So I really had to focus on him. I hope you guys were able to get a good enough kind of background. I know for the freestyle, I've got more footage to kind of show you a little bit of the before and the after as well, because yes, there was there filming that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was a very surreal and crazy moment for me to even share. So I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned tomorrow because I'm going to be posting the freestyle. You're going to be hearing my music for the first time. I created my music with Dominique from 𝒋𝒐𝒍𝒍𝒐𝒘, and she did such an incredible job putting it together. It just represented Emporia and I so well. But yeah, until then, I really appreciate your guys' support. I know I've been getting a lot of messages for this video, so I'm sorry again about the delay. I hope you guys can understand the situation a little bit. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I can't wait to read the comments about what you guys thought. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.